it is more important to have people around you who will be happy with you and for you on your happiness, success, and joy than to have people who will be there when you hit your rock bottom. Well, this is something that has been a new learning for me over the past couple of years, and something that I wanted to share with you in this format where we check in with each other to talk about things that may not to lead an eventual outcome or tips and tricks and strategies, but essentially to leave you with something to think about. Welcome back to the Unfoldlearning Podcast. This is your host, Kostav, and I'm really grateful to be sharing this space with you. And I hope by the end of this video, where we are checking in, I will leave some thoughts of spark and curiosity for you to take back and think about. So let me start by sharing with you a story, right? Couple of years ago when I was promoted at work, and it was an early promotion, and by the way, I was the youngest to get promoted. I was really happy. I wanted to share this happiness with a few people. And on that note, I went to one of my colleague and I shared with him this joy and this news. After he heard me, he was really happy as he shared. And then he said something which struck me in a big way, and that has continued to stay with me till now. He said that, you know what, Kostav, it is extremely important to have people with who you can share your happiness, and they will reciprocate or reflect back the same happiness and the joy that you are experiencing. And further, he added that it is quite easy to find people when you are not doing well, when you hit your rock bottom, but it is extremely difficult to find people who will be there to celebrate with you your happiness. And that was something that took me aback, and I was like, well, wait a second. I am not really getting this right, because thus far, the only thing that I've learned is that, or I've been told, is that you need to be with people who are there with you during the hard times. And interestingly, that kind of blindsided me to not look at the side where I will be able to identify who are there with me really when I'm happy, and they are sharing or expressing that happiness without any envious, without any jealous, without any filter. And that has stayed, and this particular thing has stayed with me uh, till now. And I thought, let me share this with you, because I wonder in today's time how difficult it is to really find people who will be happy with you and for you. Of course, when you hit your rock bottom, when you get to that down slope, you will find a lot of people out there who may tell you, console you, who may feel pity for you, sympathy for you. Uh, but essentially, the number of people with who I can share my joy and happiness has reduced it to a great extent. And let me put the caveat right out there that this is my experience that I have felt, and I am sharing this with you because I don't think many will even talk about this, right? Or there are enough spaces to even bring or share or surface these kind of discussions. Well, nevertheless, if you resonate with this thought, then I would think that you are there with me in this journey. Probably we are traversing the same kind of the journey, and if not, then that's completely okay. Maybe something for you to take back as a new learning, or as a learning that may not affect you at this point in time. But essentially, the reason why I wanted to share this is because I felt like definitely there is a blind side to the thought that where we take people for granted who really experience the joy and happiness as we do when we attain success, when we achieve something, right? And Over the last 2 years, I have been very observant about this, and trust me, I have seen this to be so, so true. Literally, I can count people on my fingers about, who has been there to celebrate my happiness. And there is a huge list of people on the other end who have shown pity on me, who have shown, sympathy with me. I'm not saying they are wrong or it is intentional. It could be unintentional, maybe 90% of it. But, you know, it's really important to take a step back and realize the fact that when you struggle and when you hit that rock bottom, people will only be at the fence, because at the end of the day, it is you who has to get out of that rut. But when you experience happiness, it's an emotion which increases more when you're able to share it with people who genuinely would want to celebrate that success, that joy, that happiness with you. And that's the essence of what makes us to be human, and maybe a bit more evolved human, because then you surround yourself with people who matter, and you create a better space not only for yourself but for people around, because in reciprocation you end up being there for someone when they are happy, without any filter, without any absurd reaction like, oh, interesting. You got this. It could be a luck. It could be. And quite often, all of these thoughts are not even told to you, they are always in the hindsight. The reason why I share this with you is for you to be mindful, right? Is for you to figure out what kind of a space are you creating for yourself. And people really, really, and I'm generalizing this basis my experience, people really like for others to struggle. And it might sound very odd, very controversial, but try and take a step back and make that connection to your own lives, right? And the reason why that happens is because when you are here and when others are here, they have the sense of being superior. And that superiority enables them to probably look at you in a way where they would be like, oh, what just happened? Oh, poor you. Oh, this should not have happened with you. Oh, it's okay. Come on. And that kind of gives them a trigger that makes them feel that, oh, they are at a good place. They are at a much better place, right? Typically, examples when we feel good when somebody else has scored less than us, right? In our colleges or in our schools, right? That kind of a similar aspect that comes into play. And the moment you get at par with them or you surpass them, suddenly there is that sense of inferiority. Oh, how could this be possible? Oh, why he or she? Uh, it would have been a sheer luck that would have played out. Oh, there is privilege, there is etc., and all of that, right? This is bound to happen, and this is going to happen. If today you're not experiencing this, trust me, given the times that we are in today, where everybody is competing with each other, where everybody is trying to be in a race, you will experience this, where you will realize the count of people with who you can share your happiness will reduce drastically than the people who are there at the fence when you hit your rock bottom. And the reason why this is important is because those who would experience the same joy and happiness for you and with you are only those folks who would come with transparency, who would really come with that genuinity to be there for you. Because celebrating happiness as a collective is not that easy. It is really, really difficult to feel genuinely happy for someone. Uh, it's a privilege, right? And when you surround yourself with people like this, you give yourself a chance to be a part of someone else's happiness. I'm not saying you should not be there when someone is struggling. Of course, be there, but also be mindful that you are not having any sort of a filter when you see those same people who struggled are at par with you or have surpassed you. right? And that is kind of the essence. And while I was thinking about, what should I tell you, what should I not tell you, how do I really make you explain this? Because this is something that is extremely difficult to articulate. But let me put it in this way, right? You are standing on the beach, looking at the horizon, or you are at the apex of a mountain, looking at the serenity and the beauty of the nature. And if I put this as an analogy to what I'm trying to say, you would connect with me when I say this, that when you are in such spaces, majority of the time it will be you alone, or you will have some people who matter to you. And that's what is the essence of experiencing happiness, joy, and success, and sharing with those who are really few around us. So yeah, that's kind of the essence of the message that I wanted to deliver, and also normalize the fact that it's okay if you find, as you grow up, you find less people with who you can share your happiness, and if you have them around you, and additionally they are also there with you when you struggle, don't let them go. It could be in the form of your partner, it could be in the form of your friends, it could be in the form of your family members. Don't let them go. But if you have identified folks with who you cannot share your happiness, let them go as soon as possible. It doesn't matter, because trust me, you are not in a race with anyone, and you would not want to invite any sort of a filter or a negative vibe or an emotion to what you're experiencing, right? On that note, I hope I have sparked some thoughts. Do write in the comment box if this made sense. And because we are talking about happiness, don't miss to subscribe the channel Unfold Learning Podcast. Um, and I hope this checking in kind of a format helps you. Till we meet next, that will be over the weekend. I shall see you soon. And thank you for being there at Unfold Learning Podcast. This is your host, Kostav, and I shall see you soon.